Well, Teddy, when I was asked what my first impression of you was, I thought I was supposed to be honest. I'm sorry I found you a little bit boring, but I was just making a joke about being pregnant. That's how my friends and I joke around. I did say your romper was cute. I don't know what the problem is. Do you mean to tell me that just because of my small disdain for the way you dress, you don't want to be friends with me? Now just stop that. That's silly. Let the mouse go. Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 10, Episode 17, The Reunion, Part 1. I'm just staying in my Sutton outfit because I worked way too hard on this. Jocelyn Ford. Jocelyn. That is my very, very bad Moira Rose impersonation. Jocelyn. David, Alexis. Oh God. Okay. I am like punch drunk right now. It's late and I'm hungry and I spent too much time with my paper plate art. Guys, I didn't even know what this was. It looks like a heart with flames coming out of it, or it was a beet. I don't know. If anybody knows, I was drawing just from my screenshot and I don't even know what it was. So had like some flowers over here. Doing my best here. Let's just get into this reunion because I felt like it was the best part one of a reunion that I've seen in a long time. It was content heavy. 9 pages of notes. Crazy for a reunion. We start off Tuesday. Yeah, they're doing that timestamp thing again. This was 2 days before the reunion. Yeah, we're starting 2 days early. So it's the rehearsal, and because it's a Zoom thing, everybody's in their own homes. I don't know exactly how this worked. I'm assuming that Bravo sent camera equipment and lighting and stuff like that and told people how to set it up because I had heard other shows doing it like that. I don't even know if maybe they sent a person with a mask on to set things up. That's probably more likely. But it's 2 days before. It's the rehearsal. They're seeing how it all works with the Zoom thing. And this is interesting to me, guys, because I think it's a little reminder to us all that these women are playing a role on a TV show. You know, there are very blurred lines between reality shows and scripted shows nowadays anyway. I think when reality first started, it really was a reality show. But through the years and the evolution of reality, I think they realized, well, this is what drives ratings, so now let's try and create it. You know, everybody likes the idea of reality show where we're kind of a fly on the wall and peeking in on people's relationships as they interact with each other. But the fact of the matter is, it's probably boring 90% of the time. Then I think they try to create conflict. Like when that producer who was off camera was goading Garcelle into kind of being mad at Denise. Oh, she didn't show up and you've had her back the whole season. Really egging people on to have a fight, I guess. I'm just saying all this because it's just a reminder, maybe it's just a reminder for me, but I think it could be a good reminder to all of us that watching the way these women are now and the way they talk to each other while they're setting up their microphones and checking their lighting 2 days before the actual show is very different than they act when the camera's rolling. Denise wishes Dorit a happy birthday, and Garcelle and Kyle are chatting in a friendly manner. Harry Hamlin is behind Lisa, and he's like, oh, what am I doing here? I don't even live here. So he's joking about that rumor. It's real easy breezy, friendly. And then Thursday, just 2 days later, showtime, and game faces are on, people. All bets are off. And I just need that reminder sometimes that I shouldn't care more about their relationships with each other than they do. Okay, so just real quick, their looks, I love them all. I do. I think they all look fantastic. They all look beautiful. You can start the hate comments right now, but I like Teddy's pink hair. I think it's fun. For those of you that have been around long enough to see my blue and purple hair, you know that I just think playing around with hair is fun. She's in a quarantine, and I think it's pretty, actually. It's cute. I don't even hate Kyle's Alexis Carrington Colby look. I love dramatic looks. I just do. I think it's fun. Believe it or not, Dorit's like twisty braid is not the best look for me. I like her. She's got like a metal dress on. I like that. But the hair, I just think it wasn't great for this Zoom call because it's all party in the back and I don't know what, asleep in the front. Anyway, they all look good. Andy's saying hello to everyone and he very awkwardly asks Erica, "Where's Tom Girardi?" And she's like, "He's at the office." Andy goes, "Really?" She seems confused and she's like, "Well, when your name's on the front door, I mean, it doesn't stop, so." Was Andy trying to say that because Tom is so old, he really should be working from home? I don't know. All I know is it was awkward. And then I don't know if Andy lost his train of thought or if he wasn't really listening. Because when she stopped talking, he goes, "Okay, there you go." We start with Garcelle's package. We get the whole flashback to when she first came onto the show. It does appear as though she has had her fair share to say about Kyle in her confessionals, which actually is kind of what I love about her. We are reminded of how blunt she is. We get the scene where she asked Erica about sex with her 80-year-old husband and the scene where she asked Sutton, where does she get all her money? Then we see a flashback to Watch What Happens Live when Garcelle was on. Andy asked a dumb question about who was the most welcoming and who was the least welcoming. And she said Erica was the most welcoming. And is Sutton there? No, I said Sutton before. Kyle, I guess. I'll say Kyle was the least welcoming. Kyle now tells Garcelle that she was hurt by that. She had a little bit of a lump in her throat. And Garcelle says that she only said that because she couldn't think of anybody else's name. Well, you thought of Sutton, and then you changed it to Kyle. Then Dorit chimes in. Well, she doesn't really chime in. Andy asks for her input on this about how Kyle tends to interrupt people. We get a whole montage of that. And then Kyle tells us that at her charity party, Garcelle raised her paddle to donate $5,000 to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles and then didn't pay. Garcelle goes, "What?" Kyle's like, "You just weren't being genuine, Garcelle." Garcelle's like, "That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. You better watch what you're saying. That is not true." Kyle, "No payment was made." Garcelle looks mortified. And you know, this is what pisses me off. Kyle, you know damn well that Garcelle did not stiff your charity. As soon as she said no payment was made, Garcelle was horrified. And she's like, "Well, then something went wrong and I'll look into it." Yes, of course something went wrong. Kyle, you knew that. No way did Garcelle bid $5,000 and then have no intention of paying it. Something fell through the cracks and all you had to do was say, "You bid on this thing and we didn't get a check. Is there something?" And she would have said, "Oh, well, let me talk to my manager and we'll figure it out." Or whatever the deal is. This is what I'm talking about though, guys. It is like dirty from minute one. Oh, and here's another reason why I know that Kyle knows that was like a clerical error. Because she doesn't even really care. She's not horrified by it. She just wants to move on to, "So, yeah, you weren't genuine, Garcelle. You really need to say what you really mean." Garcelle's like, "I just told you how I felt right now." And she's like, "I never said anything bad about you." And Garcelle said, "You went on Twitter and I was warned by somebody here that that's what you do. You wait until the show comes out and then you tweet about it and you get all your fans riled up behind you. And I never tweeted anything negative to you. Andy goes, Garcelle, who here warned you about Kyle? And she's like, oh, no. I'm not doing that. So Andy goes, does anyone want to cop to it? We see everybody's faces in their little Zoom cubes, but I couldn't tell if somebody looked guilty or not. Kyle, I've only been nice to you, Garcelle. And Garcelle goes, Kyle, stop it. You're not being honest. I've seen your tweets. Then we get to see her tweets. Why say something when there is such easy proof to be seen to prove you wrong? I think I will never get that. And here's the thing, it wasn't even that bad. Kyle's tweet was a catty remark about what Garcelle was wearing to that astrology guy at Erica's house. Who cares? And you know what, side note, that's the kind of drama I love. I love a catty little diss about what somebody's wearing, especially if it's not couture. Because that feels so harmless to me. Nobody is destroying somebody's career or making things horribly awkward for their kids at school. I miss the old days, guys. Okay, Garcelle is asked about what it feels like to be the first Black housewife for the Beverly Hills franchise. And she said, well, it's an honor to be the first at anything. But she did feel the responsibility of that and to not come across as the angry Black woman. And then she said that the others might not have come at her as hard as they would have if she were white, for fear of it becoming a racial thing. She said she understood that the other women might have been nervous about that. Nobody else, of course, admits to that, but I thought it was a very honest response from Garcelle, to just kind of put it out there like that. I thought that was good. We talked about the Black Lives Matter protests and how she participated with her sons. Andy asked her what she was talking to them about, and she said that she's been talking to her sons since they were about 3 years old. And that, in fact, she recently was pulled over by the police. The kids were in the car, and or at least one of her sons was in the car. She said, I was glad he was there to witness everything I did. I kept my hands in plain sight at 10 and 2. I told the officer when I was going to reach for my license. And I've heard this before from Black people, the careful attention they give to every movement they make and how they kind of drill it into their children so that they don't get hurt. It reminds me of The Hate U Give. That was a good movie. I highly recommend it. I think Andy asked all the women how they were talking to their children about the Black Lives Matter movement. I think they all said they were talking about it. I know that Kyle said that that's something they talk about at dinner. Then Andy asked Erica about her son, who's a police officer, and she said that Garcelle was the first person to reach out to her and ask how her son was doing. Well, guys, we had to endure almost 23 minutes without my sweet, sweet Sutton. But she's here now, and she is very salty this evening. I guess one of the first viewer questions was about her house being on the market, and they asked why or something. And she said, because I'm desperately broke. And everybody kind of laughed. And she said, no, I have my eye on something else. And you have to sell something to buy something else. Not if you're Dorinda. Another question said, I thought you'd be on a dating site for millionaires, not Match.com. Was this question for Ramona? The question was, what's the worst date you've been on since your divorce? And she said, it was with a millionaire. So then we get Sutton's package. My favorite part is revisiting that first impressions game they played at Kyle's house. Because Rinna, oh my God, it was so suck-uppy to Erica. Erica, my first impression of you was, oh, I'm scared of this woman. Because she's so freaking fabulous. Oh my God. Really? We got Sutton's confessional right after that, where she was mocking her. It was so good. My first impression of you is that you're so pretty. But then I got to know you, and you know what? You are pretty. Then we get the whole Dorit and Sutton let the mouse go scene. Dorit said, Sutton, I wholeheartedly apologize for that. I made it a bigger deal than it needed to be. And I see that now after watching it back. Sutton's like, yeah, okay, Dorit, but if you were really concerned that I was going to ruin Lisa's daughter's event, why did you bring it up at the dinner after the event? It's just because you wanted to start trouble. Otherwise, you would have pulled me aside and said, what was that all about earlier? Dorit's like, let me explain. I've apologized 3 times now. And that kind of ends abruptly. Sutton's like, okay, I accept your apology. We're good. I don't know if they're good or not, but it ended. The next question was for Rinna, like, why were you turning on Sutton that night for, like, messing with your kids when nothing even happened? Which was a good question because, again, this was like an after-the-fact thing. The event already happened. The ladies were out to dinner. Rinna's daughters were nowhere around. And nothing happened at the event. So Rinna did get kind of all worked up at just the thought that it might have. I think she just said, I don't know why Sutton didn't just come to me and say, is this particular person going to be there or not? We move on to Sutton's gift bags and how amazing they are. Sutton goes, well, I am trying to buy your friendships. I told you, she's on fire tonight. I mean, somebody watched the show and took notes. Other than me, that is. Oh, well, Erica doesn't watch the show because she didn't get Sutton's dig at Dorit because she goes, I never said that. And Sutton goes, no, Dorit did. Dorit is now just trying to do more damage control. Sutton, after you gave me those birthday flowers, I thanked you and I said you were so sweet and kind and loving, and that is what I believe. I have so enjoyed getting to know you. Sutton's like, whatever. She didn't say that. Now there's a question for Teddy. Teddy, you want people to be direct and honest, but during that game, what's your first impression? Was Sutton maybe too direct and honest for you? And Teddy's like, she didn't get to know me. She just decided the second she saw me in my cute black romper that she had an issue with me. And the pregnant comment, that hurt. And Sutton goes, and I apologized. Because that is something my friends and I would say to each other, just to be funny. Ugh, now you're pregnant? I actually kind of get that. You know, just like teasing each other, like, now you're not going to be any fun. We can't drink, or you know what I mean? And Teddy said, oh, well, I didn't think that was funny. Just like, I look bad in these clothes and I'm pregnant. That's when Sutton said, are you really going to let my small disdain for your clothes get in the way of our friendship? That's silly. All right, now we have the Denise package. We've been through this so much, you guys. I don't even want to bore you with it all again because it is just recapping a recap. But she claims that going to a strip club to get steaks was just a joke. They were going for steaks, but not at a strip club. Denise said, I said that because I knew Lisa would run back and tell the others. Which she did. We actually just saw the clip of her literally running back to tell the others. She says the real reason she didn't bring her kids to Kyle's barbecue was, 1, do you think my teenagers really wanted to go? And 2, I can't have Eloise around a pool without me constantly keeping a watch on her. Rinna goes, well, you didn't say that. You said I'd never bring my kids around these women, which she did. And honestly, Denise, those are 2 really good reasons. Your teenagers wouldn't come if you begged them to. That makes perfect sense because Kyle had a bouncy house for entertainment. I think Garcelle's 12-year-old sons were great sports, by the way. Especially when Garcelle kept getting on them for just sitting somewhere and like playing video games. What do you want them to do, Garcelle? Jump in the bouncy house? I thought they were extremely well-mannered kids, by the way. So yes, that's a good point. And then Eloise having special needs. Yes, completely valid reasons for not bringing your kids. But she didn't say either of those things that night. She first said that they were at a sleepover or something like that. and that Eloise had a play date. And then later, yes, she did say, you think I would bring my kids around, you people. To that, Denise said, I was kidding because I was putting back in your face what you guys were saying to me in Santa Barbara. You shouldn't bring your kids next time. And the way that, Sutton said, yeah, maybe if it's an adult party, maybe don't bring the kids. That really hit a nerve with Denise. Then Denise brings up again that, the party was at her house and the husbands were there. And she said, when is the last time we all got together and talked about sex? When the husbands were with. Rinna says, you bring up your husband's penis almost every episode. Not this season, right? Oh, maybe once. Anyway, Denise goes, with the husbands there? And we see a flashback to her pizza party where she did make a joke about his penis. So, oops, Denise. Erica now starts getting really pissed off. She said, apparently she got in a lot of trouble on social media for her comment about the teenagers probably already had sex. And she said, I wasn't talking about Denise's daughters. I was talking about teenagers in general. And newsflash, they have sex. So you can stop with your fake outrage. It's happening, people. Denise said, I was upset by that comment. Erica goes, because you thought I was talking about your daughters and not teenagers in general? Of course you did, because that's convenient for you. A lot of venom coming out of Erica right now, guys. Rinna, the fans really came at us for some of that threesome stuff, Denise. I hope you know that. And Erica and Teddy both say, of course she knows it. She likes it. Denise goes, why would I like this? And Erica goes, you liked a comment that said Lisa Rinna should be fired from her job. It's fair. Denise goes, no, I didn't. Then it gets pointed out to her, yes, she did. It was part of a longer comment. And Denise said, I didn't see that part. It was a comment to Erica about my daughters. That's what I was liking. And Rinna goes, and she also said that I should lose my job and I'm a racist. Denise goes, Lisa, that's not true. And you can talk to Jill. What? I don't know who they're talking about, but it did say Jill. Do not bring me into this, ma'am. Now Rinna pulls out her evil villain voice. Denise, you liked the tweet, and liking it is everything. It is like 85 degrees out, and that gives me goosebumps. Denise says she took it down. Rinna says that Bravo told Denise to take it down, and lies, lies, lies. Denise is full of lies. Andy now asks Denise about how she's acting a lot different this season than last season when she was more fun and open and talking about happy endings. He said, Denise, did you sit your kids down and talk to them about what you said last season? And Denise said, my kids don't watch the show. Rinna, bullshit. Yes, they do. I mean, I hate when people say their kids don't watch the show, especially when their kids are teenagers. It doesn't matter if your kid doesn't watch. Their friends' parents watch. They talk about it. Everybody knows. It's going to get back to your kids. You guys who know me and watch me do other recaps know that I've always felt this way about Jolie and Kelly Dodd. That kid, I want to embrace my paper. My shield. I've got this shield on. I did it again. I just want to embrace that kid and protect her. I think she gets it worse than almost anybody else of these franchises. But anyway, I think it's crazy to say my kids don't watch the show. You're protecting them. You're not. Denise does admit that yes, they hear things from their friends. Erica, just the bad things that we've said about threesomes or about the happy ending too? Denise looks at Erica like, you are a bitch. Because right now she is. And she goes, I don't pick and choose what they hear from their friends. Rinna goes, oh, come on. The whole world knows that Aaron got a happy ending from that 100-year-old woman. I don't think she was 100. I mean, that would be an interesting story if she was 100. Andy goes, Denise, were you trying to change your image this season? Denise goes, no, I was uncomfortable. I was a target this whole season. And Rinna starts singing a song about gaslighting. And that is where part 1 of this reunion ends. Yikes. It was a lot. I will give it that. It was not boring. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you liked this recap, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll be back next week for the second part of the reunion of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Hope you guys join me. I'll see you next time. Bye.